What's up, everybody? How you doing? Today, I've got a secret to share with you. And this is a secret that was taught to me by my grandfather when I was about 10 years old. And he called them the 15 powers of success. And all throughout my life, I've been using these powers in one way or another to do really cool things, whether it's at work, whether it's in music and art. And they've really helped me manifest pretty much anything I've ever wanted to do. And what I mean by that is when I utilized all 15 of these powers and I put all of my energies into doing exactly everything by these rules, I was successful, without a doubt. You could pick a few of them and manifest them. You could use them as waypoints in your life when you've got a decision to make and you've got to think about something and you need to be at your best, right? So, really, in a way, these 15 powers are how to succeed at anything in life. And I'm at a turning point in my life and I'm starting a whole new path. And I am going to use all of these 15 powers on this path to manifest greatness. It's one of those things where if you just make the plan and you stick to it, it'll work out. So with that, let's get into these 15 powers of success as taught to me by my grandfather. So let's begin. The first one is called accurate thinking. And I'm just going to read to you what his definition is because his words are very, very specific. And the definition of accurate thinking is to conform carefully to truth or fact, to use the mind rationally. Accurate thinking. You could say the opposite of this would be emotional thinking or irrational thinking, when you let fear guide you rather than rational thought, when you feel like you have no choice but to do something. You're not thinking right, because you could do whatever you need to in that moment, provided the path presents itself. And it will. It will. Power number 2 is cooperation. Working together willingly for a common purpose. Working together willingly for a common purpose. Cooperation. When I was the executive director of the BAP, which was a nonprofit, it was a 100% volunteer organization, which means nobody had to be there. Everybody chose to be there. Nobody was getting paid. And we created the most amazing experience through cooperation. Through cooperation. Working together willingly, right? You can't coerce. Concentration. To bring one's faculties and efforts to bear fully on one thing. This also means if you're in a startup situation, you can't have a plan B. You can't have a plan B. Plan B is going to dilute plan A from being successful. And I know nobody wants to hear that, and everybody says you have to have a plan B. I've found anytime there's a plan B, plan A doesn't work out fully. Power number 4, definite chief aim. To be certain, for sure, that the direction of one's efforts are of paramount importance. Definite chief aim, or primary goal, primary objective. And then to be certain for sure, to be certain for sure that the direction of one's efforts are of paramount importance, that what you're doing is directly aligned with your goal. If it's not, you shouldn't be doing it, right? This is that single focus. No plan B. You can't do the plan B. It won't work. Power number 5 is enthusiasm, and this is a lively, keen interest in the activity, meaning that you genuinely need to be passionate about it. Enthusiasm, you can't fake it. There's no faking it. Lively, keen interest, right? You love whatever it is. You've got to love it. You've got to love it. If you're going to be any sort of successful anything, artist, musician, entrepreneur, you need to love what you're doing, and it needs to come from your soul. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. Otherwise, it's just filler. Otherwise, you're just an NPC, and nobody wants to be that, right? So enthusiasm, that keen interest, that genuine passion for it, that is what is going to make you stand out from somebody else. Passion. Number 6, going the extra mile. Going the extra mile, doing better than your competition, and doing more than you're getting paid for. And this one, I'm telling you, this one's gotten me into trouble. So power number 7, it's called habit of saving, and it's recording ideas or thoughts for later use. Another way to look at this is you cut off the peaks to fill in the valleys. That's another saying that my grandfather had. But you record your thoughts for later. You go through them. Some of them are good. Some of them are crap, but you keep them all because you never know what's going to be useful later. Power number 8 is having a high quality imagination. A high quality imagination. And what does that mean? That means that you've got an imagination that is able to come up with things that can actually be done in reality. That you can come up with an idea and that you know how that idea can get done and how it can get put together, what the different technologies are, what the different facets are of that particular project or experience. Having a keen, highly developed imagination, right? And being able to then execute those things reliably and repeatedly. You know, knowing what is possible and being able to achieve it. That's huge. That's huge. And doing it with the team, right? Using cooperation and all those other aspects. Yeah. Power number 9. Of the 15 powers, we're up to number 9. And this one, power number 9, this one, initiative and leadership. The key to being successful is being able to take initiative and show leadership abilities. And this is so true, you know, and my grandfather's description is one's personal responsible decision in advance of others. Means that you make the right decision for everybody involved. And it's being able to make a decision that may be better for somebody else than it is for you. I think the best way to do it is to make a decision that works out well for everybody involved. And there are no one gets the short straw, you know. Maybe everybody's straw is a little bit shorter, but there's no one short straw. That's, you gotta spread out the tax, so to speak. Power number 10. Power number 10 is a pleasing personality. Let me tell you how my grandfather describes it. Able to produce agreeable or amenable behaviors or manners. Being able to be nice all the time. You know, you really need to have a lot of self-control and discipline and self-confidence to be able to be that kind of person all the time. You also need to be in an environment that is going to be conducive to you acting in such a manner. I say this because sometimes in life we're presented with situations where the people around us aren't as honorable or as mature as they think they are, and they behave in ways that are quite dysfunctional, and we have to maintain our dignity and our composure amidst the dysfunction. So, in that case, having a pleasing personality and not taking it personal, don't take it personal. There are things that are personal, but if you want to be successful, you can't take it personal, even though it may be personal. That's the thing. That's the thing. It is personal. But if you take it personally, it'll be the end of you. So you can't take it personally. That's the truth. Superpower number 12, practice the golden rule. Put yourself in another's shoes and think and act like that person. If you can truly put yourself in another person's shoes, put their hat on and see the world through their eyes, you're going to be able to communicate with them in a way that they understand, because you're coming from the same place. You're speaking the same language. You're seeing the same things. And you don't necessarily need to agree with it at all. Necessarily, you don't need to agree with it. You don't necessarily need to understand it. But what you need to understand is that it is their truth. So, by being able to put oneself in their shoes, even though you're not going to be able to walk in them, you're able to get a vision of things from where they stand. And then you can connect with them better. And it's hard to do without ego, and it's hard to do without judgment. If you can really, truly say, okay, I'm going to put my person in that shoes, and I'm going to see things like they see them, and I'm not going to judge, then that new perspective could open up new avenues of thought and new ideas for you that up to that point had been completely closed off to you. It's really amazing practicing the golden rule. It's hard, though. It really is. It really is. Our ego gets in the way. Our self-talk gets in the way. But if you can put them shoes on, it's epiphanastic. For sure. All right. Power number 12 is profit by experience. And I'm going to read to you exactly what my grandfather has here, because the words are very, very important. Knowledge gained by personally encountering or undergoing something. Knowledge gained by personally encountering or undergoing something. Profit by experience. What this means is that you turn every experience you have into something that you take away knowledge, experience, and wisdom from, no matter what it is. So you don't make the same mistake twice. So that you understand the ins and outs of how relationships go, so that you understand the dynamics of markets. Profiting by every experience, logging every bit of thing that you've done in your life as a personal truth, and being able to navigate that in a way that you come out of it richer. Right? Profiting by an experience means that when you have that experience, you come out of it a richer person. Power number 13. So crucial, so crucial. Self-confidence. Full trust in oneself. Power 13, according to my grandfather, is self-confidence. And this is full trust in one's self. Fully trusting yourself when you make a decision that it's the right thing. That's huge. That means that you also know when you make a mistake. That also means that you know when to pivot. You know? There's a lot of things you need to have confidence in, and that confidence can shift and it can change, and you need to know when to be flexible. And that is self-confidence, and that is the full trust in oneself. Power number 14, self-control. Self-control. I also call this discipline, you know, to exercise restraint or direction over oneself. Power number 14, self-control. Wow. To exercise restraint or direction over oneself. I think this is the one that I had more of in the past than I do now. And through exercising it, I'm developing more of it. And it's a muscle, self-control. And it is diligence. And it is. And power number 15, superpower number 15, according to Grandpa, is tolerance. Tolerance. And again, his words, a liberal spirit towards opinions and practices that differ from one's own. Yeah, he was amazing. And tolerance is one of those things, a liberal spirit towards opinions and practices that differ from one's own. Opinions and practices. Yeah, tolerance. Yeah, I think that's something that we've began to lack as a society. You know, I think there used to be a lot more tolerance. I think that's part of what's broken down. There's a lot more black and white thinking than there used to be. You know, it's amazing how as we have these experiences in life, as I read these 15 powers to you, and as I go through them here, again, they still resonate new teachings and new thoughts and new ideas to me as I share them with you. And that tells me how powerful they are and how important they are. The 15 powers of success, as told to me by my grandfather,